In this video, I will show you how to encrypt and decrypt the data file. The following demonstration will be done on Unidata. However, all the same ADE commands in this demo also apply to Universe. There are two encryption modes you can use to encrypt your data, the whole record mode and the field mode. I will show you these two modes separately. First, let's query my data file company. And we can see that all the data is currently shown in clear text. Now, I will use the whole record mode to encrypt the data file. Use the command encrypt file company. Specify the whole record mode. The algorithm for encryption like AES 128. The encryption key my key 1 and its password uToRocket1. We recommend that you don't specify passwords on the command line, but rather enter them when promoted by encrypt file. Use the list encryption file command to display the encryption information. Now that the encryption is showing successful, let's query the file. We can see that it's all shown in ciphertext. Why isn't the data decrypted automatically? That's for security reasons, because if you wanted to decrypt the data, the key must be activated. Keys without passwords are always automatically activated. Conversely, keys with passwords must be activated manually in the new session. So, if you want to get the decrypted data in the new session, we need to activate the key. Type activate encryption key. My key 1, uToRocket1. Specify the key and the password. Okay, now let's query the file to see that the data is decrypted. Let's quit the current session and enter a new session. Query the data file again. And we can see the encrypted data. Remember, the key activation is only effective for the current session. We can also decrypt the data file within the whole record mode. Use the command decrypt file company whole record my key 1 uToRocket1. Specify the mode, key, and password. Run the list encryption file command, and we can see that the file company is not encrypted. We can query the data file again to see that now the data is shown in clear text. Next, I will use field mode to encrypt the data file. You can either encrypt the entire data file, or you can pick specific fields to encrypt within that file. For example, if I wanted to encrypt a few sensitive fields, like credit card numbers or addresses, then I can do that using the field mode encryption. To demonstrate this, let's use the command encrypt file and specify which field names to encrypt. I will also have to specify the security algorithm, the encryption key, my key 6, and if I had a password, then I specified that too. The encryption key my key 6 is the one that I already created, and it has no password, so we don't need to specify the password. I will encrypt these two fields at the same time on one command line by separating the two fields with a single space. During this encrypt file process, we have the option to use different encryption algorithms for encrypting just these fields. For example, AES 256 could be used if I wanted something stronger than AES 128. Now that we have encrypted the fields, let's query the data file to see it in action. And here, we can see that all the data are displayed in clear text. Why is that? even if we quit this session and enter a new session to query it again, we find that they are still showing in clear text. So why is it not encrypted the two fields we selected? Well, that's because keys without passwords are always automatically activated by the default. Unidata or universe decrypts all encrypted data when it's read, but sometimes you don't want to show decrypted fields for privacy reasons. In these instances, where privacy is paramount, you can use the disable decryption command. Let's type disable decryption company card number address to disable decryption on these particular fields, regardless if the key has a password or not. Now, if you query the data file, we can see that the two fields card number and address are now encrypted. To see if they remain encrypted after a restart, let's quit this session and enter a new session. We can query it again, and we can see that they are now showing as decrypted. Remember that just like with key activation affecting the entire session, disabling decryption also affects the entire session. We can also decrypt data using the field mode. To do so, use the command decrypt file. It's similar to the encrypt file in that you can decrypt multiple fields at a time with one command. The only difference between the command parameter of decrypt file and the encrypt file is that decrypt file doesn't require you to specify the security algorithm. If we really want to increase the security of the U2 database, then we can encrypt the index file. First, I need to create some key indexes for the data attributes, phone and address. I will use the command create index company phone address. Next, we need to execute build index to have it built. Use the command list index company to display the indexes and verify that they were built. An index can be encrypted in two ways. You can directly and indirectly encrypt the index. To directly encrypt the index, for example, to encrypt the phone index, use the command encrypt index company phone. Specify the algorithm, key, and password. Use the command list index company to display the status of the key indexes. We can see the value of DE in the F-type field. D stands for data type, and E stands for encrypted. So this means encrypted data. Now let's look at how one might indirectly encrypt an index. I will encrypt a field address that has an unencrypted index. Use the command encrypt file company card address. After encrypting that data field, let's query the index information to see that the address index also became encrypted at the same time. Let's check to see if the index file really is in fact encrypted indirectly by just encrypting a file. If we open the index file, we can see that the data remains encrypted. So therefore, by encrypting a field that has an unencrypted index, we have indirectly encrypted the indexed file as well. There are more scenarios in which an index can become indirectly encrypted. We only encrypt the ADE field, or encrypt a file with the whole record mode. All the existing unencrypted indexes become encrypted indexes, because there is associated data in the index file, so it must be encrypted for security reasons. Okay, let's go back to the Unidata session. and list encryption file company. We can see the file encryption summary. One data field and two indexes are encrypted. Next, I will try to decrypt two indexed fields, phone and address, at the same time. We can see that decryption both at the same time has failed. This is because the data field address is still encrypted, and you can't decrypt the index associated with the field. If you want to decrypt the index, you must first decrypt the associated field. Okay, let's only decrypt the indexed field phone. Use the command decrypt index, specify the file name, field, encryption key, and password. Decrypt index is successful. Okay, that's it for the file encryption and decryption.